On the internet, you're assaulted.
Welcome to the Retro Station. I'm Commander Dan, and today we are starting a new series that I like to call License to Play. This is my collection of licensed titles for the NES, where we'll begin this journey. I don't have every game for the system that was licensed and adapted from some other media, but I'll go through the ones that I have that are my favorites, and not so favorite. This is what the AVGN calls the Rainbow of Death. This logo also, however, is what Matt Ezero, aka Cygnus Destroyer, defends as the LGN Defender. Matt's link is in the description below, but if you don't know who AVGN is, the door where you can get your internet license revoked is just behind you. Now, I called my channel Retro Station 1989 because in 1989 our family got our first NES, and I have loved that system ever since. So, our family had one ground rule, however, and it was when you want a new game, you gotta beat the old game. My love for licensed titles means that I've played through most of the games you've seen here a lot. So when I give you an opinion on something that's licensed, trust me when I say I have spent hours in these games to give you the best opinion I can about if you're ever interested in getting something from the NES, which is where we're starting our journey. You can come to me and ask, hey, is this game any good? And I'll tell you, yes or no. But first, a few ground rules. First, no sports games. Not that I don't have some. I do. I've got a couple Olympics games and a couple golf games. Everyone's got bases loaded, but those games are kind of just. I don't really play a lot of sports games, and you tend to not get really burned on those, and they require more than one player, so those are out, including wrestling games. But that's because I'm going to do a whole series on the NES's wrestling titles, and I'm also going to do a tiered list to let you know what I think are the best wrestling games on the NES. With one exception. I think I may add one to this list just in case, to fill it out. Though, you'll be able to see that I have plenty to work with, okay? Second, I'm only going to review things I have a physical copy of or I have the digital equivalent of. So if I have a digital copy of, say, Night Trap or Double Switch, I'll show you those. They're not really licensed titles, however, I do have this the Disney Afternoon Saturday collection that has, like, DuckTales 2 and Rescue Rangers 2. I don't have those physically, but I do have those digitally. And I'll add, that'll be one of the specials that I do about rarities and all of that. Now, the reason for this is twofold. One, how are you going to trust my judgment on anything if I didn't have to put my money down and say, hey, I invested in this for myself. I wanted this title. I bought it. I put money on the barrelhead and they handed it over and it's either, I'm not going to tell you something's cream when it's crap, you know what I'm saying? And second, it's harder to talk about. The gaming community here on YouTube is hard to describe other than there are people out there who review, and the personalities that review them, you can be fans of those guys all you want. And there's the collectors. They collect as well. They're collectors like myself. I collect things. Now, my collection is based more upon what I want from when I was a kid or what I wanted to have when I was a kid, and not some investment into the future. I'm not investing for the future. I don't. The value of my collection is in what I put into it, not what price charting says it's worth because some people are willing to buy. So I don't want anyone to think that these videos are designed to hike up the prices of shit that I own. So I'm not really going to mention prices or what I paid for stuff unless you see a sticker and I'll go, hey, I got it for this. And if I got it for a real cheap price, and I know there's other ones out there, I'll make that known too. But this isn't designed, and especially, I only want to review things I actually have here in hand or digitally on one of my consoles so that you're not under the impression that I'm just playing some emulated copy to jack up the price somewhere. Not accusing anyone of doing this, mind you. I'm just saying that I don't and I won't. All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over one of my favorite games. So let's start with Darkman, developed by Ocean Software. Published in 1991, it was adapted for the Spectrum ZX, Commodore 64, Amiga, Amstrad, Atari ST, and the NES. It's based on the film of the same name. The movie is about Peyton Westlake, a medical scientist looking to find a synthetic skin for burn victims, who's blown the hell up by gangsters. But Peyton is found and brought back from the brink. However, since he's a John Doe, they use the experimental and risky Rangaverit's technique on him. This snips his nervous system's pain receptors, numbing him to all pain, but also putting his adrenal system into overdrive, making him strong, but also on the brink of madness. Peyton, looking like a cross between the Phantom of the Opera, the Shadow, And a burnt chicken wing goes on an ultra-violent rampage in an R-rated superhero movie in the vein of Batman and the Shadow, and hopes to find a cure for his monstrous form and to get back the lady he loves. It's an action-packed horror superhero hybrid that is just classic. And because Nintendo loves taking R-rated properties and making them kid-friendly, we get this. So, here's Darkman. Is this game good? Well, that depends. I like the game, because I love the movie. The game is an Amiga title designed by Ocean and adapted by Color by Numbers for the NES, so it controls like a dumbed-down Euro platformer on the Amiga. That is to say, slippy as hell. You travel through the game in two kinds of stages. Darkman going through multi-stage action levels where he punches and kicks the mobster goons and handles like a grocery cart with all the wheels coated in axle grease, and the photo stages, where he snaps pics of a gangster to make a mask. The more snaps you get of the villain, the more time you'll have to complete the following action stage. So, basically, it's like the movie, hitting the big action points and disappointing on every level except for the graphics, which are cartoony but not hideous, but the movement, hitboxes, platforming, and god-awful music? Hell, even the camera's aiming is like trying to aim a frickin' howitzer coated in Astroglide. Is Darkman on NES any good? Do we have a license to play here or what? Yeah! Heck yeah! So today, Darkman on NES? Hell yeah, it has a license to play. If you like the flick, pick it up. But be aware that the controls are bad, the music's awful, but it is a license that if you like the license, it does live up in the graphics department. And it's once you get used to like the terribleness of it, you'll play it and you'll like it. You probably won't. I don't really love it, but I love the fact that I have a game that has Darkman in it. I love Darkman that much. So, and more than anything else, remember, you want to like and subscribe to the channel when you want to know if these new episodes come out. It's once a week. It's going to be once a week, every Monday morning. If you want that, you're going to want to hit that bell. It'll tell you right away. If you subscribe, you'll know when I'm online streaming and playing these games for this video. And finally, more than anything beyond all that, remember to stay retro. Peace!